Hello, you guys. So I'm making this video tutorial real quick about how to make animations, sorry, pictures with reflected surfaces or with a mirror or fake mirror. As you all know, there are no mirror reflections in Second Life, only water reflections for objects and clouds and things and lights, but not actual mirror reflections on actual objects. So a way to get around this is just to use some Photoshop tricks to have a picture that looks like you have a mirror that is reflecting a surface. Since the last picture there was some interest on how to do this, I figured I would just make a very quick tutorial on how to do this super quick. The first thing that you need to do is to get your mirror. I actually have a mesh one that I bought a while ago. And what you do is you place the mirror where you want the mirror to be, obviously. You choose an animation, any will do really, for this demonstration. Um, let's just use a simple one. So you have your animation. You take the picture from the back if that's the effect that you want to pick. Um, Let me just center the mirror a little bit more. Okay, so you take the picture from the back. When you take the picture, you want to make sure that you are choosing a resolution with constraint proportion that is over 4K, which is technically high definition. So what I generally do is 6,000 by whatever it calculates. This can be done in any of the viewers. I usually pick Black Dragon for pictures, but you prefer choice of browser or viewer, whatever works for you will do. So I take the picture from the back when you're happy with the aim and the angle and the resolution and the wind lights and etc. Just click save and save it on your preferred folder. Uh, what you are going to do next, you are going to either de-render the mirror or move it. I rather de-render it for effects of the picture taking. What you want to do, you don't want to move the camera at all, so you're going to use the camera controls and pan the camera around so you are still facing the same angle. You have to place yourself looking at yourself or the subject from where the mirror would stand. Once you're happy with the angle, then you're going to click and take the picture without moving the camera much. And then going to save it on the same folder. Then we're going to go to Photoshop. In Photoshop, I already took a couple pictures, so I already have the two pictures that I've used on my last blog post opened. So what we are going to do on this one, the first thing that I do is constrain proportions just to ensure that I'm cropping the area and just making sure that I'm just using what I need. Because a lot of the time when you take the picture in Second Life, there will be a lot of the areas that you don't need to have in the picture. Once that's done, I go to the actual reflection one and I'll randomly select whatever area of the picture I want in there. So we're gonna do this. You're gonna click Control C or copy from the menu and then select the actual picture and then Control V or paste. It is a bit smaller. Um, what you want to do is right click on the actual layer that you just pasted and turn it into a smart object. This will keep the resolution of the picture even if you increase it or decrease it or increase size or reduce it. It will keep the resolution as it is because it's a smart object. So that's a nifty trick. Then you're going to go into Control T or in the menu, transform or free transform. And then what you want to do is, hold on. First, you're going to tilt the picture in a way that the edge aligns with the actual mirror because it's slanted. Okay. It doesn't matter where you place the picture, you just want to make sure that the edges are aligned. Once that's done, you're gonna increase the size, but before you do that, you wanna reduce the opacity to 50 so you can actually work on the placement. You can see where the picture goes and how big it's going to be. So you're gonna increase the size by dragging this on the side. Okay, see until you're happy with the alignment. You work your magic a little bit, and then when you're happy with that, you double click and come out of the edit mode. What you want to do at this point, you want to flip the image horizontally because mirrors reflect the other way around. So having done that, we're going to have to free transform again and align the picture with the edge. Okay, so we're going to tilt it a little bit. Once that alignment is good, then you're going to move the picture and align it. Okay. Now, if you zoom in, you'll see that I'm placing the hands one on top of the other. What I did here was a little bit of a Second Life trickery, and I just alphaed my hand. So when I was taking the picture on the front, I wouldn't have to worry about a hand poking out on this side. I double click, and when I'm happy with the placement, I increase the opacity to 80. We're not going to increase it all the way to 100 or keep it at 50 because what you want to do at this point and what you want to achieve is that some of the shadowing and lights that are reflecting on the mirror surface bleed through to the actual picture that you took. Just so see how you can see some of the shadowing in there. Now for the easy part, or the hard part, depending on what version of Photoshop or Gimp you're using. If you're using the newest version of Photoshop, this should be fairly straightforward. What you want to be doing, you're gonna hide the layer, select the background, and then go to select and select in subject. This will select the main subject of the picture automatically. If you're in any other version of Photoshop or GIMP that doesn't have the subject option, then you will need to use magnetic lasso tool, and I'll demonstrate this in a minute. For the time being, now that we have the subject selected, we're gonna unhide the layer. No, we're gonna hide it first so we can see what we're doing and I can demonstrate. With the magnetic lasso tool, what you can do is manually select what we've just done. You click the edge where you want the selections to start, and the magnetic lasso tool will automatically select around the edge of the subject without you having to do much. If you feel that a corner is going to be especially difficult when turning around, you can just left click on the mouse and pin it, and then continue your way down until you've automatically selected this desired area. And you're going to work your way around to the first pin, and that's it. Simple as that. Now that is all selected, then you're going to do inversed, select inverse. if I find that. Inverse, there you go. Okay, we're selecting inverse because it's a smart object. So what you want to do is select inverse so the outer areas of the subject are selected, because what you're going to be masking when you create the mask is just the subject itself and not the outer areas. I will demonstrate in a minute. You unhide the layer, create the mask, and that will only select on the mask. It will only mask the active areas, which is the outer areas. Okay. Now that we've done that, we're gonna take a white brush. It needs to be a hard one, not a soft one. And we're gonna remove any of the areas that are not of use to us. So you're gonna carefully paint this. I won't go much into details, but just to show you guys the entire process. Okay. Don't worry if it's not perfect. When you finish selecting the image, and when you move things around, and when you stamp visible layers, a lot of the unperfect edges will be automatically selected. No, I think my Photoshop has frozen. Okay, there we go. We're gonna do the same. We're gonna perfect a little bit on the areas. Okay. You're gonna remove some of the extra blues that we don't need. For example, here. So, see the blue patch here? That's supposed to be transparent because it's the whole of the mask. Okay. And that way you can work your way around this. Okay. We'll carry on doing this. So with the brush, very precisely, you're gonna be doing this. If you don't have a drawing tablet, you're gonna have to be doing this very carefully with the mouse. Um, so it may be a bit time consuming with the mouse, but it's definitely worth the extra effort. Okay, now that we cleaned up our image a little bit, what we are going to be doing at this point is just deselecting or removing the areas that we don't want outside of the mirror. So we're gonna lower the opacity again so we can see the areas that we want to remove. You're gonna select the edge. And then Control X to remove. Do the same here. And Control X to remove. And then the same here on this side. This one doesn't need to be too perfect because hold on. So, okay. Okay, so that's done. What we're going to do now, we're going to increase the opacity to 80. And then what you're going to do, you're going to duplicate the image or the layer. That is the reflection layer with the smart object and the mask and everything. And then you're going to lower the opacity to 20 and the fill to 80. And then what we're going to do, we're going to Gaussian blur it to give it a nice glowy fashion effect. Okay, as you can see, because what you want to do is achieve a very subtle shining in a surface, mirrory type of look. You can find brushes to add extra effects like I did, like for example with the ripples. I generally find my brushes at Brush Easy or just by doing a quick Google search. If you're going to do any effects on the mirror, my recommendation would be just create a new layer and then do it in black. So then you screen it so it will become invisible. Screen will basically remove any darker colors from a picture. So you do screen and then here on effects you go to bevel and emboss, and as soon as you do the beveling it will bring just the lighter areas of the brush. So you pick whatever you think looks best. I think this one with the outer bevel and anti-aliased, and then contour as well. You're gonna play with these a little bit. This one. And with the bevel and emboss, you can also play with the depth, the opacity, just to remove the darker colors. The size of the actual thing. Well, you get the idea. Just bear with me. Okay, you get the idea. What you can do at this point is just create another mask. And then just with a soft brush, we're going to do a soft brush in this case because we want the edges to look a little bit light, hair softer. With a softer brush, anything that you paint will be, in this case we're going to do the opposite because we're removing the black here. And then you work your way around the arm to remove the unwanted areas. Okay. Once you're happy with the results, you do Control Shift Alt E and stamp visible. When you stamp the visible layers, any of the bluey edges that you had not removed will be removed. You can clean up the hair a little bit with a hair brush. Again, brush easy. Just look for hair brushes and play around with that. But that's pretty much it. Um, you can play around with angles and placement of mirrors and etc. But this is pretty much it. Um, Thank you guys for watching. I'll do some more part two on post processing and best programs and how to get the most out of your pictures and bring out the resolution and the details on the pictures. But that will be in a later tutorial when I do find the time. Thanks for watching.